Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Diseased Caterpillar. My 28 female boyfriend, 29 male, let my stalker ex, 28 male, into our apartment to leave me a birthday surprise. How do I handle this absurdity? I, 28 female, broke up with my ex, 28 male, 10 months ago, but he will not get over it. Despite me wishing to no longer interact with my ex, as well as me dating someone new, Cole, 29 male, my ex has been trying to win me back by doing over-the-top things like sending me gift baskets, love letters, chocolates, etc. even though I've blocked his number on all social media and always ignore his attempts to woo me with his gifts. He never actually interacts with me directly, never waits for me outside or tries to talk to me. He just leaves me gifts at our doorstep and runs away. It's creepy and makes me super uncomfortable. Cole, who I live with, doesn't actually see an issue with this and says he feels bad for my ex and doesn't want me to waste my ex's money or efforts. So I reluctantly just let Cole eat the chocolates and other crap since he insists I don't throw them out. He even likes reading the love letters even though I tell him I don't want to. I don't understand why he's so chill about this because my ex and Cole aren't even friends and have never interacted, so it makes no sense why he's so okay with my ex doing these dumb gestures that he knows make me uncomfortable and creeped out. If anything, Cole should be pissed off that someone is trying to steal his girlfriend, right? Anyway, all of this finally came to head on my birthday. After work, I came home to our apartment decorated in balloons, chocolates, and flowers. I'm immediately touched, thinking all of this was a surprise from Cole. Nope. Apparently, my ex actually came over with all this crap, buzzed our apartment doorbell. Cole let him in and allowed my ex to decorate our apartment and leave gifts for me. Then, my ex left before I could get home. Cole apparently saw no issues with this. He literally let my ex into our apartment like it was no big deal because my ex came all the way with all the gifts, which was such a thoughtful gesture. Now I feel totally unsafe. What if my ex secretly left a hidden camera or something? I have no idea why Cole is so fine with all of this. I've talked to him over and over, and he won't understand why I would want to reject free stuff from someone who cares about me. I love Cole, but the fact that he actually let my ex into our apartment was a huge breach of my trust, and I have no clue how to deal with this. Is this relationship just unsalvageable, or is there a way I can get it through Cole's head that none of this is okay? Could Cole have ulterior motives by letting my ex do all of these things? Any advice is welcome. I just have no clue how to handle this absurd situation. Thanks. Wow, OP, your boyfriend gives me the impression of what a yellow lab would be if it turned into a human. No offense to yellow lab, they're awesome, but they're not known as the dog that you would want to scare away bad people from your home. And in this case, your boyfriend behaved just the same. What if a robber comes? Is he gonna go and tell him, hey look, here's the safe, you can take everything, and also, do you have any biscuits? Anyway, OP, all jokes aside, you're absolutely right to feel like your trust has been breached because it was. You've spoken to him about this many times, as you've mentioned, and he still doesn't understand. That means he doesn't care, or he's too much of a good person to care, or he just can't get you. Regardless, your boundaries have been breached, and now you need to make a decision. As I mentioned before, if this is not the first time and he still won't get it, and he did this, then I think you know what you need to do. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments. Going Price for Home says, something is very wrong with Cole. What the F does he mean he feels bad for your ex who's stalking you? If he really doesn't know him, the only thing I can think of is he's got some kind of weird male solidarity view of the situation. He follow any podcasters that make you raise your brow on social media? Do you mind if I ask why you're already living with Cole? And OP responds, cost of living mostly. I live in a very expensive city, so I was living month to month on my own. He basically offered to be my roommate so that we can go half and half on the rent, internet, utilities, and it would relieve my financial stress, which it has a lot. It might have been stupid to jump the gun at us moving in so quickly, but he had only shown green flags until now. I can technically kick him out and try to look for a different roommate if things are totally done for, since most of the stuff in our apartment is mine. Tequila Mockingbird 80 says, OP, they know each other. Think about it. There is no way your ex is going to be chill, handing out and decorating the apartment while your boyfriend is literally watching him. And your boyfriend isn't going to be chill letting your ex do that. I'm really concerned they are in this together and you are in danger. And OP responds, I'm really starting to think this could be the case. My boyfriend is working from home, so there's a chance he caught my ex while he was dropping things off and they talked. He denies that, but I'm becoming more and more paranoid now, and I am definitely going to see what I can do to end this relationship in case they are secretly in cahoots. Norman Beats says, you need to run. This man literally has your worst interest at heart. It would be entirely possible that they don't know each other, but that Cole is such a misogynist that he puts your ex's feelings before your safety. My best friend's ex did something similar. He ambushed her with her abusive ex, trying to force her forgiveness for her own good. He happily sat at the table with a man who threw her down a flight of stairs. Cole is doing the same thing. This is a drop everything and move to a new city situation. You are 28. You are in control. Run. And some astronaut 6907 says, so I reluctantly just let Cole eat the chocolates and other crap since he insists I don't throw them out. He even likes reading the love letters even though I tell him I don't want to. This is partly on you. He should definitely not be chill about what your ex is doing, but you should not be putting up with it, reluctantly or not. And OP responds, I admit I'm a pushover. Being raised by an abusive mother does that, sadly. I definitely needed this wake-up call. Additional information from OP's comments. Cole and I didn't just meet recently. We've actually known each other for a couple of years through work and gaming. We only started dating about 8 months ago, and at first, he honestly seemed like a really great guy. Before this whole stalker mess, he was thoughtful, funny, helpful, and sweet. The type to rub my shoulders if I had a rough day and just listen. That's why this whole thing blindsided me so badly. The disregard for my safety only started showing when my ex wouldn't let go. For background, my relationship with my ex was super short, literally only 2 months before he did some dumb stuff that made me dump him instantly. So all of this over-the-top grand gesture nonsense he's been doing since we broke up feels extra ridiculous. The love letters and signed tags are 100% in his handwriting. There's no mistaking it. What I can't wrap my head around is how Cole could be so okay with all of this. His friends apparently think it's funny that my ex is such a tryhard, but I don't find anything about it funny. Cole himself has been eating the chocolates and edibles my ex leaves, which at this point makes me wonder if he's tolerating it just because he benefits. It feels careless and dismissive. And yeah, part of why I've tolerated more than I should is because of my own background. I grew up with an abusive mom and an absent dad, and I know it's made me a pushover in relationships, but this whole situation has been a huge wake-up call. I've already decided I need to go back to therapy before I even think about dating again. For now, I've asked my younger brother to come help me confront Cole. He's tall, intimidating, and very protective, and honestly, I just feel safer with him backing me up. I can technically kick Cole out since most of the stuff in the apartment is mine, and at this point, I'm seriously considering it. The more I think about it, the more I realize I can't keep living like this. Well, the community agrees that this relationship is dead, and apparently OP saw the writing on the wall, so she's moving on. Now, let's do the same and move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hello all, my last post blew up a bit and many people were concerned about me, so I'm going to give you this update. I can't even put into words how insane this situation has gotten. When I got back home on Friday, I tried to come up with a good plan to keep myself safe while I confronted Cole in case he were to do something scary. A lot of people put the fear of God into me in the comments of my last post. I invited my very tall and intimidating younger brother over to be there while I talked to Cole. My brother couldn't come over until Sunday, so I spent a day and a half awkwardly trying to pretend everything was fine. But I must have done some crap job because Cole kept asking me what was wrong and love-bombing me. Eventually Sunday came around. My brother showed up and we grilled Cole about why the hell he's been so fine with my ex coming around with gifts and even letting him in to decorate our apartment for my birthday. I was not ready. All of you had a lot of theories, one of which came up a lot was that the two knew each other and or were working together to do this. If anything, I would have rather that been the case because the truth is so much more effed up. Basically, Cole has been fixated on my ex. He has essentially been stalking my stalker. Cole admitted that he made fake social media accounts, yes, multiple, to follow my ex and has been stalking his Instagram and Facebook. Apparently, my ex has been making a lot of vent posts about me and how hurt he is that I'm not returning his feelings and have moved on so fast. And Cole has been egging him on his alt accounts to get my ex to keep trying. The reason my ex is still stalking me is because Cole has been literally telling him to on his effing alt accounts. It's obvious my ex is unstable if he's listening to random strangers telling him to keep trying, and Cole is taking advantage of his instability by planting thoughts into his head. If I am to believe Cole's words, my ex has no idea that it's Cole that's been encouraging him to keep pursuing me, but I can't be certain about anything this guy says at this point. So why, you ask, was Cole doing all of this? This is exactly what my brother and I asked. This was his answer: to give my ex false hope. Basically, to bully him? Anytime my ex angst post on his social media about me, Cole got some sick satisfaction of watching his misery. He wanted to string my ex along to keep trying to win my heart just to watch him fail over and over. Cole finds it hilarious that my ex is wasting so much money on gifts for me and that it's him who eats the chocolates and reads the desperate love letters my ex sends to me while I act like my ex's gifts are radioactive and avoid them. This has all been some sick game to see how long he can get my ex to keep pining for me. Who the hell even does this? The short answer is a sociopath. I've been living in fear for months because Cole thinks it's funny to manipulate my ex and watch him be heartbroken. I cannot articulate how sick all of this is. How is this funny? What is wrong with him? He said he makes sure not to go too far by discouraging my ex to make direct contact with me, but I can't believe anything anymore. I've read so many stories of people who were dating someone who seemed so sweet initially but turned out to be actually unhinged, but I naively never thought that could be me. I was so careless and dumb because I clung to someone who finally treated me with kindness, but he is a twisted man who turned my ex into a monster by feeding his delusions. I think if he hadn't done all this, my ex probably wouldn't still be stalking me in the first place. My constant fear and discomfort have just been an unfortunate byproduct of his little game of puppetry. I can't even comprehend how someone could do something like this. I'm so shaken up, I feel I'm spiraling. Suffice to say, I'm living with my brother and his girlfriend while my ex gets the hell out. I told him he needs to move out within the week or I'm getting the cops involved. He didn't make a fuss or anything, surprisingly. He just looked at the floor like a kicked puppy. He hasn't even tried to call or text me, but I blocked him just in case. I'm going to see if my landlord can understand my situation and let me break lease early with no extra cost. But if I can't, my brother is going to cover the extra cost in the meantime, and I'll stay with him and his girlfriend until I can find somewhere else. My brother is seriously a godsend. I'm definitely going to go back to therapy as soon as possible because this whole situation has me unable to sleep at night. Trust anyone, and I really need a better understanding of what are red flags in relationships. So many of you told me I was a pushover, and you're all right. It shouldn't have taken this long for me to call this relationship with Cole off. This is so effed up, but I'm safer now. I don't know what to do without my brother and his girlfriend. Thanks to everyone who told me to get out of this relationship because Cole was way more twisted than I ever could have thought. I don't even know if he told me the whole truth, but I don't even care anymore. I'm out. gone and never looking back. OP's edit. Thank you everyone for your advice and words of encouragement. I called the non-emergency police line to file a report of all this. It wasn't super helpful other than just making a record, so I'll do a follow-up with them once I have safe access to my apartment and can collect evidence. I unblocked Cole for now to gather any text evidence as some of you suggested, but he's been pretty quiet. He sent a photo of a couple of garbage bags full of his stuff, and he asked if he could have a day to say goodbye to my cat. I have her with me currently at my brother's place. No way I'm letting her near him. I haven't replied yet. I turned read receipts off. Haven't contacted X1 yet. Still figuring out the best way to do that. Tomorrow is a state holiday where I live, so my brother and his girlfriend will be home from work. We are working together to figure all this out. Definitely moving out of my current place as soon as I can. Sorry I can't reply to all the comments. I'm still pretty overwhelmed and anxious, and there are so many that it's frying my brain, but I'm trying to read most of them. I appreciate every one of you though. Wow, OP, Cole is a sociopath. What the hell? That dude's sick. Good for you for getting out of there and filing that police report. Maybe your brother can send a message to your ex number 1 so he can start getting over you already? And Cole, yeah, he just needs to be banished. In the meantime, OP, here's wishing you the best and hopefully your life can go back to normal as soon as possible. Take care and thanks for sharing. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user PrimaryLadder8310. No problem, sign this. So I drive a twin-stick R-model Mack boom truck, the largest in our fleet. This truck was big, heavy, and it had an unusually wide turning radius. At the time, I delivered construction materials. While we had residential and commercial materials, I often focused on new construction and commercial sites due to the truck being so large. Every once in a while, I would get a residential delivery. Mostly these deliveries I could make from the street without having to pull on the property. This is not one of those stories. So this one day I am told I am doing a residential roofing delivery to the roof of the house. My radar is now on because I am familiar with the roads in that area and they are narrow. Delivery to the roof means I have to enter the property and get right up to the house. I get loaded and get to the job. As I approach the job site, the road is narrow, barely 20 feet wide. The house is on my left and facing the property, the driveway is on the left. Important in a second. I stop and go find the person in charge. He says, "You're right on time. I need you in the driveway and boom across the roof." I say, "That's great, but there are several issues. One, all of the vehicles parked on the street need to be moved down past the neighbor's house for me to fit down this road. Two, I cannot make the turn from the street onto the driveway without driving across the lawn, backing up 2 or 3 times. 3, I cannot guarantee that driveway can support the weight." He shouts, "I'll move the trucks and you just get your truck in there," in a very demeaning tone. I say, "Okay, I will." As I back down the street to the intersection, turn around and back up the road, he gets all the trucks moved. I get into position to pull on the property and stop. I grab my clipboard and jump out. I walk up to him and say, "I need you to sign this." We carry legal forms in the trucks that, when signed, make the signee or their company responsible for any damage to the property, truck, load, or towing fees to get the truck off site. He signs and all but throws the clipboard at me. Well, okay then, game on. I turn into the yard and pull across the driveway and back up 4 times to get the truck completely on asphalt. Once in the best position I could get, I got out and looked at my handiwork. 8-inch ruts all across the front 29 feet of yard from the street. Each edge where the tires went from grass to asphalt or asphalt to grass, the driveway collapsed and broke away. The rest of the driveway had several 6-inch ruts that were at least a foot wide on most of the driveway. But I'm not done yet. I have to put down my outriggers to stabilize the boom. Because the driveway was as wide as the truck meant that when I put them down, they would be in the lawn. I carried large blocks to enlarge the footprint of the outriggers to get stability on soft ground. This left 2 more 10-inch holes in the yard about 3 foot by 4 foot square. I delivered the entire load with no issue. Then the homeowner came home as I was climbing off the boom and started screaming at me for the state of his driveway and yard. I calmly turned and pointed to the job foreman and said, "You need to talk to him." Then turned back around to finish wrapping up the truck. I could hear them as they were screaming at each other, but could not understand what they were saying. The final insult. I had to ask them both to move their vehicles so I could back out. And yes, more ruts were made leaving. I paused on the street for a minute to check out my handiwork. It was bad. I got back to the warehouse and the bosses cornered me before I could get into the office. The contractor's boss had blown up my boss's phone with threats and complaints. I quickly explained and pulled out the signed affidavit. Boss said, "Well, okay, then we're covered." And I heard nothing more about it. That affidavit has saved my ass a lot over the years and has afforded me some great and funny malicious compliance over the years. Nicely done, OP. That clipboard with that paper on it was the best shield possible for all that BS. Hopefully the foreman learned a little bit. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.